Hey Kerbal Space friends, what's up everybody? This is Raw here with another Kerbal Space program video. And as you can see, I'm flying my old shuttle. At least it looks suspiciously like my old shuttle. Some of you may have remembered my original shuttle video and how it was maliciously destroyed by Squad when .25 came out. I don't know, of course I didn't do it maliciously. I'm just kidding. I was a little bitter about it back in the day, but I'm not anymore. But I've gone ahead and rebuilt it using very similar parts and techniques as I had before. I have the same 5-engine design, which kind of looks like the shuttle does. And again, I have it hotkeys so that 1, 2, and 3 will shut them off as needed for control and piloting sake. And with that, I've rebuilt a working shuttle. Now, how did I do this? Well, most of you probably already figured it out. I'm faking it, and that's how. What I did is I grabbed one of those, well, it's built around a probe core, so it's not really a cockpit. And it has that one of those little crew containers things with it, and then the windshield is just a bunch of solar panels placed there so that it looks like a windshield. But with that, I was able to make something that, in my eyes, looks more space shuttle-y than what I could make with the other parts. Has a cargo hold, and all of this is, of course, RCS fuel, because once in orbit, all I use is RCS to maneuver around. So that's one thing. And here's some other stuff. So this is going to be sort of like what I've been up to video, not really part of any episodic type thing. And it's gonna both show you guys what I've been up to, as well as I'm going to provide a download link for the X-Men plane, as was requested by one of the subscribers. So thank you very much, sir, and I will include that link from MediaFire at the end of this video. Now, you guys have seen me make planes like this before. You're probably sick of them. So was I. This is the last one. This is the perfected model. It's not as good looking as some of the other models have been in the past, but it works very well. It has room for 6 by both the crew quarters and the cockpit. It can fly itself, as you can see by the probe there. It has plenty of intake, so it flies up nice and high before having to switch to rockets. It's docking capable, which also gives it additional monopropellant. And the newer thing is also this landing gear. So the way that this works is, when you get into the slightly heavier SSTOs, it's sometimes a little hard to get their nose up off the ground in order to take off. I've solved that by putting in this rear wheel. So without that rear wheel, it's very easy for the plane to sit down. I was sometimes nervous of it actually toppling over, but with the SAS, I can actually almost hit the engine on the ground before I even get going. Then just set it to full throttle, close the unnecessary intakes, and I don't even have to do anything. You'll see here how it picks up by itself. These wheels are just magically lift off the ground and we'll be going. Any minute now. There it is. And of course, when I want to land, I'll just put all of these down so that I can land and not, bust my engine on the ground. And of course, since that front landing gear is so far away, I can just slam on the brakes. And it doesn't matter, I'll stop. Hopefully before I run away and get everybody killed. Oh my god! No, they're fine. So that's the last you'll see of this design. I've made a bunch of these. They've been featured in like 3 or 4 of my videos. Just lost the wing. This is, I believe, the ultimate incarnation of it, and what I've been using is kind of going to be my workhorse SSTO to take people into orbit and fuel. Because with this many intakes, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 intakes, and that's 40 times 4, that's 160, and 460 extra liquid fuel. You can get going really fast and really high without using rocket fuel, which means a lot of rocket fuel is left to deliver to the space station itself. So there's that. Now that one takes 6 people, and I thought to myself, why don't I use similar parts but in a little bit different, more original configuration to make one that can take 8. And also, I haven't used rapiers in a while, so I decided to to do something with that. I ended up with this. Great similarities to some other designs you've probably seen, but instead of using one turbojet and 2 little rockets, this one has 4 engines, 2 turbojets and 2 rapiers. This one is, needless to say, exceedingly overpowered in the lower atmosphere because 4 jet engines just push really hard. And the trick with this is, well, after you open all the intakes in the upper atmosphere, as you start running low of air, you turn the rapiers off completely and run off just the turbojets. And 2 turbojets is more than enough to push this thing through the air. You can probably just take off and fly up there without even turning on the rapiers at all. But since we have them, may as well. This has a similar landing gear takeoff assisted system thing going on here. Aim that up and blow off an engine. Dang it. That's what I wasn't supposed to do. But anyway, so what you do to fly these is, and of course the missing engine is going to make a problem. What you do is, as you're running out of air, you turn off the rapiers and run off just the turbojets. And I hotkey the switch mode on the rapiers. So I switch them to rocket mode, and then I just turn off the turbojets and turn those back on. So you run these in air breathing mode for a while, then you turn them off, switch them over to closed mode, and then you run them by themselves, and you get into space. Of course, being rapiers, they're not nearly as efficient as the turbojets and the LV909s are, but they're okay. Whoa! Boom. All kinds of problems happening there. Now, after I made that big ugly thing, kind of looks like a boat, doesn't it? But anyway, after I made this thing, I decided to focus on smaller things. Little STOs that I could keep in my on my space station, like escape pods or stuff like that. After making a interesting looking and easy to fly one-man design, because this thing is really easy to get into space. You know, it has extra fuel and it has an RCS thing, and yeah, just that little amount of rocket fuel on these little engines will get you into orbit and let you do maneuvers. But I decided to see what I could do using the offset tool and mashing things together, and I came up with this design. I love the way it looks. I think it looks a little bit like I'm ripping off the Jedi Starfighters from the Star Wars prequels, which are probably the only good thing in those movies, because those little fighter jets are awesome. I used to play Star Wars Galaxies, and my little JSF was one of my favorite ships. This kind of reminds me of that. I'm going to fly it unmanned. Now here's a bug alert. Let's see if it happens. Whenever you mesh one of these little shielded docking ports, it sometimes does really weird stuff. So if you have that problem, let's see if it did it to me or not. No, it seems to be behaving. Anyway, sometimes it starts to slide to the right and it starts to like bump on stuff. If you just open it and close it, it seems to like reset itself in the right position, and I normally just do that as a matter of habit before taking off. So yeah, as you can see, I have both a lot of stuff on these wingtips. The landing gear's there. It has a structural strut. It has more intakes. It has the RCS poles. It has the RCS blocks. I'm putting a lot in that basket, you know, on the little wing things. It needed to strut because it became very wobbly, having just that little point of contact. Don't want to crash again. I don't think I can help it anymore. Ah! That's why I go unmanned. Now, of course, of these, I was also wondering whether I could make a working rapier one, and I was able to. It's pretty much identical in every other thing, except that it's got rapiers, a single engine, making it look even more like a Jedi Starfighter, since those only had one engine. But with this setup, I needed way more fuel, and I didn't need as much oxidizer as I needed fuel, so I had to tweak that out, and I had to build this around a big central tank instead of just a little tank. This one works very well too. Rapiers are just like, you know, Jack of all trades, master of none, unfortunately. This one's way less efficient than the other one, and it doesn't look as good because I like the intake that the Nozal gives it on the other one. Not to mention that it gives it more air, because of course it has one more Nozal and not so much rocket fuel. This one also, because the rocket fuel was heavier and didn't have enough lift with the wings that I originally made, so I just encased them in these other wings to give it more lift, and it works, and it looks good. I mean, I like it. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. Again, sorry for the weird sounding voice and the occasional pause to cough, but I decided if I didn't pause the cough, I'd never finish filming a video. So, to those of you who wanted to fly my X-Men plane, word of warning, you're going to have to really tweak the hell out of the profile. It's very difficult to get into space. It hovers okay, and it flies nice, but it's so heavy that it's short on Delta V. Now, back to other stuff. I also wanted to talk to you guys about the next series that I wanted to put together. I want some opinions. I want some comments. There's not too much to ask for. I want to see if anybody's interested in watching me make a reusable space program that can get somebody to the moon or Minmus or both and back. I've been kind of doing one just for fun, and I've been trying to make them look as slick as possible. So here's my lander. I'll be taking that thing to the moon soon, and this will be what gets people from the surface of the moon to a similar orbiting space station. There's my new, better looking space station, which has no hitchhiker can. It just has these things built into the side. Originally it was just this piece. I decided to go with only 4 docking ports because when I've forced 6 on there, they're too close together. In order to have more room, this is a later attachment with tanks and another 4. Set, offset so I can dock stuff. And this very efficient looking vehicle with triple atomic rockets is the one that's going to go from station to station. So I was thinking I should make an episodic thingy where I'm designing, installing, and flying these and kind of creating the reusable program. I'll probably do it to Minmus because I've done too much with the moon already, I think. So I'll be designing a station, putting one around Kerbal, designing a station, putting it around Minmus, designing the SSTO that's going to go from Kerbal to this station, designing the transfer vehicle that'll go from this station to Minmus, and then the Minmus lander. And I'll try to make them look cool. I mean, these are still functional with very, very little decorative. I think the only decorative thing in any of this is the fact that this thing has wings when it doesn't really need them. But I will try to make it look cool, even though it's going to be almost 100% functional. So for that was pretty much what I've been up to. Again, all comments are welcome. And again, thank you very much for watching, and fly safe, and check the description of this video for the download link from Mediafire for the X-Men plane. And of course, thank you very much for your request. I'm always happy to provide links to anything that I build that might cause any intrigue or anybody might be curious to fly. And again, thank you very much. Bye.